Hey everybody, and welcome to Comics from the Future. I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
And we're here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. And this is our big show where we show you some of the biggest and best books that are up for order this week. This is your last chance to order them to make sure you don't miss out on any of the comic goodness. We've got a great show this week with some really big books we can't wait to talk about. But just a friendly reminder to begin with, hey, why don't you give us a like, give us a subscribe if you like all this good comic news, telling you about some of the cool stuff coming up and why you might want to pick it up at your local comic book store. And you can head over to infinityflux.net. You see it right there at the top of your screen, where you can do all of that pre-ordering that I just mentioned. You got anything to add?
You nailed it.
Man.
Yeah, nailed it.
Right,
first try, right out of the gate.
First try.
Yeah.
This is not our 15th attempt at this.
Definitely not.
But so let's get into this week, starting with our featured comics.
The first one is a big one I'm very excited for. The Spectacular Spider-Men, not men. This one is going to be an ongoing series featuring both Peter and Miles teaming up to take on some of their most dangerous bad guys, I guess. Now, the details about this issue, you know, their first foe, what the story's going to be, a little bit light. We don't really know. The solicitation doesn't really tell us. So I don't know if this is going to be a one-and-done story or if it's going to be a 3 or a 6 issue story arc. We just don't know. But I almost don't care. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we're getting an ongoing book featuring Peter and Miles teaming up over and over and over again.
Humberto Ramos on art.
Humberto Ramos on art, and it's also written by Greg Weisman, who was one of the writers on the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon from 2008, which, in my opinion, is the best animated Spider-Man there's ever been.
Hot take.
Even topping the 90s animated series, and I watched it all, but I think that 2008 show is fantastic, and he is going to be writing this book. So I am just over the moon excited for this. Like, everything about this, writer, yes. Artist, yes. Characters, yes. Like, everything about it is perfect to me.
We were also talking about how this is really cool if you played the Spider-Man 2 game.
Yeah.
The way that they function as... It's not like Peter Parker and then Miles. They're now equals in like being Spider-Man in the city, and I feel like that's what this is leaning into. Is Miles kind of stepping up, less in a like mentor-mentee respect, and they're like co-worker.
Yeah, and actually they did mention that when this was first announced last year. That's exactly it. Miles is going to be stepping out of that mentee role and becoming more of his own. You know, a little bit out of Peter's shadow, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's really the best thing to say, but he's going to, you know, rely less on Peter, I guess, become more of his own hero, that kind of thing. And we're already seeing that in his own book. He's starting to get, his powers are starting to develop a little bit differently from Peter, so he's starting to become a slightly different kind of Spider-Man, which I think is really cool. So
yeah, and it's like that character development that we always want, is a character that went from a very inexperienced new character to now stepping into the role of being equals with their former mentor.
Yeah, so I'm super overexcited the moon. Over the moon, excited for this.
Go.
Yeah, and this was going to be coming out on March 6th. So if you guys are excited for this too, we have about 6 weeks left to wait. So we got a bunch of cool covers for this too. This is our A cover right here. We have a blank cover. We have a David Marquez. Now, this is a foil variant, so this is one of those ones where it is open order, but it might be a little bit more expensive, so check with your shop about price for the foil cover.
Yep.
It might not be the $5.99 or whatever it is on the cover there. We have a DIKE RUAN cover, not final art. I'm guessing that's going to be colored, which is the not final part. There's a Sean Galloway.
It's a dog looking at them out the window. That's what a dog sees.
Sean Galloway variant, and then there is a TODD NAUCK homage variant to Wolverine number... Is it 1? Wolverine number 1?
I think so. The Come Here Bub cover.
Yeah, so very cool.
Also, I love the half and half Peter Spider-Man. That reminds me a lot of the 90s animated show where they would do that a lot. Okay, next up is a new mini-series. It's going to be 6 issues from DC. This is Sinister Sons. So if you had been following along with some of these newer characters, we've got the son of Zod, whose name is Lor Zod, and we have Sin Sun, who is the possible son of Sinestro. I feel like there's more to come on their relationship because we haven't seen them in the same place at the same time, I don't believe.
Yeah, there was some kind of explanation in the first backup story he was in the current Green Lantern series, but I don't remember. I feel like he's not like just the plain biological son of Sinestro,
Yeah.
like kid, no, most kids are. I feel like there's like, I want to say he's like a clone. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's
And
a
I'm
little
sure
something.
they'll address it in this too to get
Yeah.
everybody caught up with these characters. This is going to be written by Peter J. Tomasi with art by David LaFuente. And I think this is really cool. So if you remember the series, Super Sons, big hit, written by Tomasi,
Yep.
where you had John Kent and Damian Wayne, kid superheroes, kind of discovering their powers and always trying to be a little bit older than what they actually
Yeah.
are, especially in Damien's situation. We had John Kent grow up, so we kind of lost that dynamic of the Super Sons, but it looks like they're trying to create something new with Sinister Sons to capture that like kid best friend, but they're kind of rivals energy that made Super Sons so good. There's not a whole lot about the story in this, other than we saw in Kneel Before Zod, the new miniseries at #1, that Lord Zod got kind of not necessarily exiled from New Krypton, but he had definitely a spat with his father and left the planet. And then we have Sin Sun, who is out trying to basically prove himself and the Sinestro name that he is, worthy of carrying it. And they're going to, their paths collide and there's going to be some adventure that ensues. It says there's going to be lots of twists and turns and kind of a mission they're going to have to go on together. So I think it sounds really fun. I really hope we can get a lot. And with having Tomasi writing, I think we're going to get a lot of that spirit
Yeah,
of
I think so
Super
too.
Sons, of those, the kind of one-upmanship that they have. And I'd love to see these characters go up against Damien and John
That'd be cool.
at some point. Sinister Sons versus
Although
Super
John's
Sons.
older than all of them now, so
Yeah. Well, that doesn't. I'm sure that does not matter to these small attitude
yeah.
people.
Maybe they could go up against Osul and Othal.
Oh yeah.
Superman's new adopted kids.
Yeah, we're gonna get maybe a new young Justice League
Yeah.
team or something. So this is our A cover. We also have this really nice. This is the Dan Mora cardstock variant, which Sin Sun kind of has a different look there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
don't
I
know
love
if
his rings, like they're big, like brass knuckles almost. Like he's,
Yeah.
it's not just a tiny little ring on his finger.
Well, there you see a young John Kent, what it looks like, and Damien. So I wonder maybe does this take place back before he got aged up?
I feel like no, because
because Kneel Before Zod takes place now.
right.
So who knows? But it's just fun.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see. And then we also have a Jamal Campbell, which I mean, Jamal Campbell's so good.
Yeah.
Plus, they're rad. They're space surfing, skateboarding. This is some rad kids right here.
Gnarly. Next, we have Ultimate Spider-Man #2. The first one is phenomenal. Sold out here like gangbusters. Like we're out. Like I think all of them are gone. This is the second issue. The first issue was just a lot of setup of introducing us to this new world, the status quo for Peter and that kind of thing. Of course, the ending was just, oh gosh, the ending was so good. And then I reckon that we're going to get some of the some maybe a little bit of action in this one. So in this one, there's a few things that are taking place in here that I'm really excited about. So Spider-Man faces off against his first supervillain. And I'm not going to say who it is, but I think I know who it is. I saw something on Twitter today. I don't know if it was a cover or a panel or something, but it is maybe like a B-lister of Spider-Man's villain, so it's not a new villain that we've never seen before. One thing that I'm really interested in, one story point that I'm really interested in is Jonah. He starts a quest to uncover who's really pulling the strings of this new Ultimate Universe. And what he finds is going to lead him to a shocking revelation.
Wonder if he's going to find out about that kind of cabal.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, because that's like the world doesn't know about that.
Yeah.
Like we had this whole mini series about this secret cabal, but the world at large doesn't know about any of them. So I'm really interested in that story point. And then New York City welcomes its newest hero, the Green Goblin, which is weird. You see what he looks like on the cover there. There is
He
a
had a brief appearance in the first one, like
yeah,
one
yeah, like
page or
one page or
something.
something. So the super villain that Spider-Man faces off is not Green Goblin though. So I guess he's being looked at as a hero. It remains to be seen if he actually is a hero or if he's masquerading as a hero, making the public think he's a hero while he's off to the side doing bad things. I don't know yet. But I'm just really excited. I loved the first issue so much. It's the Spider-Man I've wanted for a long time. And now we're getting our second issue. This comes out February 21st.
I also think it's really interesting. You know, I didn't think about it initially, but when you consider this is a Spider-Man that's new, he's now in his 30s, but like, you know, the suit it looks like he gets at first is not his classic suit. And what about the web shooters? He's gonna have to either invent like, is he not gonna have those for a little while? There's a lot of interesting twists that they're taking on this story, and just like with Green Goblin, he might not be a villain. Like, there's nothing that says that he has to be a villain in this.
There
universe.
is the possibilities are endless for this. I mean, like I said, Peter is mid-30s before he gets his powers. He's already married with kids. You know, there's characters who are there that aren't there in 616 and who aren't there that are there, vice versa. So there's no telling. It could be anything. The sky is the limit on this book, basically, and I think that's what I like about it. Is
Yeah, like, where's Gwen Stacy in this? She's probably still alive, and
yeah,
you know, without the kind of interference of the goblins earlier on.
yeah.
And stuff.
There's
I feel like we're gonna see a lot of interesting things, like probably each issue.
Yeah.
That's going to decode a little bit more of this world.
Yeah, so I'm super excited. Like I said, it comes out February 21st, so we are just a month away from this.
And don't miss out on pre-ordering this because number one, sold out like crazy. But still, stores are kind of trying to figure out what their order numbers are going to look like for this. There's not a guarantee that your store will have enough copies. This is still very much up in the air about the popularity and figuring out what is, you know, there's still people who missed the number one. They're going to be getting the second printing of number one. Then they're going to want number two. So this is a big one. Don't miss out on pre-ordering this either at your local store or at infinityflux.net because we want to make sure that you do not miss out.
Yeah, we sold out within just a few hours, I think.
Yep.
Definitely within the first day, they were all gone. So yeah, definitely let your shop know. Or yeah, infinityflux.net is where you can submit a pre-order if you don't have your own LCS. But yeah, definitely get your orders in now by this weekend. So that you don't miss it. So yeah, A cover. This is Marco Tichetto A cover. We have a Elizabeth Torque variant, which that one is Face It Tigress. You just hit the jackpot. That's great. There is an Ultimate Special. This just says Manhanini Ultimate Special variant. So
it is pretty special.
Yeah, and I guess you know. So I guess we know who Green Goblin is, right? I mean, I was a little bit curious about that. I guess it's Harry. And there's a Mark Bagley connecting variant, connecting with. I guess it's the third issue, right?
Well, didn't the first issue have a like Peter, MJ, and
was it
Aunt May?
Oh, was that the first issue?
I think
I thought that was the third. Okay, yeah. So that this connects to that, yeah, featuring Miles. Although I wonder if I guess Miles isn't in this yet. So many questions. Yeah.
Okay, next up we have a new miniseries, a 6-issue miniseries called Red Hood the Hill. Now, we talked about a week or so ago, they're doing a issue 0 for Red Hood the Hill that collects the storyline that was in Batman Brave and the Bold? Is that where it was?
No, I think it collects or it was that or a couple issues of Red Hood Outlaw.
Yeah,
I think.
But there is a primer issue for this because the hill, this neighborhood, has already been set up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure this will probably catch you up on a lot of that. But if you did want to go back, that will be coming out in the next few weeks. The issue 0, but the issue 0 is reprint content. But this is moving forward with new stuff. So this is going to be written by Sean Martinborough, and the art is by Sanford Greene, which is huge. Sanford Greene is fantastic. And if you don't know, the Hill is one of Gotham's kind of most dangerous neighborhoods, and it has a new resident, which is Red Hood, or I guess Jason Todd has moved into the area. It's kind of funny how like Nightwing has Bloodhaven.
Yeah.
It seems like the Hill is Red Hood's kind of territory now.
Batgirl had Burnside. And
So in this,
Damian has that island that he was on for a while.
The whole island. But the hill is changing. It's kind of being gentrified. It's getting kind of shaken up. But some of the old faces around there, maybe good, maybe bad, are not too happy with this and might be stirring up a ruckus. So it's going to be up to Red Hood and the Hill's newest hero, known as Strike, to team up and keep the suburbs safe. So really interesting. I'm not sure, are they fighting against the kind of the changing of the neighborhood, or are they fighting the people who've kind of maybe, if it's, are some crime lords hanging out there that they're gonna try to stop who have risen up. I'm not sure, but it sounds really cool. And there is a new villain emerging from the shadows that's maybe behind a lot of this stuff. So I know there's a bunch of Red Hood fans that, if you're a Red Hood fan, for the most part, you kind of have to bounce around from miniseries to miniseries or backup story to backup story. So this is your next one you'll want to get on board with. 6-issue miniseries, Red Hood, The Hill. This is our A cover for that. And we also have this Tirso Cons variant.
I really like that one.
Yeah, that one's really cool. And I think that's Red Hood right there and Strike.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Next is Creepshow Wolverton Station. So this is a one-shot. So the 5th issue of Volume 2 of Creepshow came out this week, and that is the final issue of that volume. So this is a one-shot, and this only has just this one story. So all the other regular Creepshow issues have 2 stories each in them, but this is just the one story that actually adapts Joe Hill's story, and this is written by Joe Hill and Jason Ciaramella, sorry. But the art is by Michael Walsh, geez, from Silver Coin.
Yeah.
I love Silver Coin. I wish that would come back. So yeah, this is a tale of a businessman whose commute is about to get a lot hairier when his train makes an unexpected stop at Wolverton Station. So yeah, like I said, it adapts a story from Joe Hill, but it has some new twists and turns in it as well. I'm on board. Like, I love Creepshow, the holiday specials, anything Creepshow, I'm on board with. So yeah, this is a new one shot with just the one story, and yeah, grab it if you're into it.
This has been a big hit. We had someone coming today, bought Volume 1, signed up for, or we ordered back issues of Volume 2,
Very cool.
and like put me on subscription for all of the upcoming Creepshow stuff. People are still learning about this, but the idea of anthology horror, especially the Creepshow, has done fantastic.
Yeah,
and they're very messed up, but really fun.
I mean, I like to read a lot of books collected because I'm impatient. I want a whole big story. But Creepshow is one I like to get issue by issue because they're all just their own stories. So it's a nice little treat every month. Every month you get 2 creepy stories, and they're creepy. And like, so every issue is like, wow, I can't believe they actually did that. I can't believe they're showing that or doing that. I love Creepshow, so I'm very excited for this. This is our A cover, and then we have a B cover. I don't have the artist on this one.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but
it looks super cool.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Definitely this werewolf vibe is really neat.
Yeah.
Okay, next up we have Predator Last Hunt. So this is a new #1, but I feel like this is, if you were reading the previous Predator series, you'll definitely want to get this one. One, because it sounds like you already like Predator, but also this is just continuing the story of Theta, who has been our protagonist in the Predator Marvel series since the beginning. So she is an orphan, and she has been orphaned by the Predator. Particularly one, I forgot what she calls him, like the missing tusk or whatever. He's only got like one tusk on his face, and she's on this like revenge mission to kill this one single predator. Of course, she's run into a lot of them along the way, and it doesn't say a whole lot about this series that's not just like continuing the previous series. So I'm sure it will catch you up if you're a new reader and you want to jump on a Predator series, but if you were reading the previous one, you'll definitely want to continue this story here. These have all been really cool. This continues to be written by Ed Brisson with art by Francesco Manna. So if you were getting the previous one, tell your story you want to be on this one, because it is a separate title with a new #1, and they don't necessarily just going to pull it for you. So let them know you want to continue to get Predator with Predator: The Last Hunt. This is our A cover for that. Very cool. We also have a, this is the Mana cover, so this is your interior artist. We have a Paco Medina homage cover. And a Sergio Davila variant as well.
Next is a new, I believe this is it's a 5-issue miniseries from Boom called The Displaced. This is written by Ed Brisson. The art is by Luca Casalanguida. Sorry for butchering all these names. But this one sounds really cool. So this is about the city of Oshawa, Ontario. It vanished without a trace one day, including all 17,000 people that live there, and nobody remembers it, or nobody remembers the town or the people who live there. But it does say there are some survivors. I don't know if they lived there, but maybe they just weren't in town when it disappeared, or
Especially using the term survivors.
yeah, or maybe they did vanish with the town, but somehow found their way back. I'm not sure, but it does say survivors of this disappearance. They'll have to seek each other out if they want to have any hopes of surviving in a world where no one believes that they should exist because they've been forgotten. So a little bit confusing how that's going to work, but I'm just like, an entire city vanishes. Like I'm sold on that. I just want to know what that's all about. So yeah, just new 5-issue miniseries, and should be really cool.
Yeah, we had 2 Ed Brisson books in a row,
Yeah,
too.
yeah. This is a Ed Brisson marathon.
Extravaganza.
This is our A cover. That's your interior artist right there, and then there is a Declan Shalvey variant as well.
This one's cool because those are actually all the people.
Right.
I wonder if they get like caught up in some kind of weird tornado or something.
I don't know. Did they just vanish? Like just poof, they're gone, or is it like some kind of twister or what? Yeah.
Okay, speaking of Predator, now we're moving over to Alien. This is Alien Black, White, and Blood, following in the now great footsteps of Wolverine Black, White, and Blood, Darth Vader Black, White, and Red. Now we've got Alien Black, White, and Blood. And in this solicitation, it's like, and green. I'm like, okay,
What?
hold up. You can't keep adding colors. Eventually, this is just a regular comic.
Well, but the alien's blood is green.
Yeah, but you can't just keep adding colors. Then it's not. Then it's just a full color comic.
Yeah, black, white, and is it going to be red though? Because it says black, white, and blood. What if it's all green
I think
instead of
green
red?
on the cover then.
Yeah, right.
I don't know, but we'll have to wait and find out. But if you know about these, each issue is going to have a couple of stories that are just kind of, I don't want to say Elseworld, but they're just random stories featuring aliens by different writers and artists. But I feel like this started with the Darth Vader. I don't remember if Wolverine had an ongoing story in it, but I know for sure the Darth Vader one had.
Well, there's been lots of black, white, and bloods. There's been Wolverine and Elektra and Deadpool.
The ones that had, I think for a long time they had just multiple stories in one without any ongoing.
Oh.
But this has one story that's going to be by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing. That's going to continue through all 4 issues of it. So that's kind of a cool thing. That's like you get one like come back for the next part, but then you get other standalone stories.
Kind of like the Batman Brave and the Bold book that's out right now. It has like the A story and all of those connect, but then the other ones don't.
So so your main one is by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing for 4 issues. And then you also have a story by Ryan Cady, one by Stephanie Phillips. And they say this is the bloodiest alien comic yet. And you can imagine with Black, White, and Blood, and just knowing aliens, that is probably true. So not for the young kids, but for the alien fans for sure. So this is our A cover, which is really cool, by Ryan Stegman. We also have the David Aja variant, which is very cool, and the Elena Casagrande variant. Very different than her Black Widow.
Black Widow and Blade, yeah.
Okay, next up we have other number ones. Now I want to remind you, before we get going, we always harp on it, but we got to come back to it. Head over to infinityflux.net where you can pre-order these books we're talking about. We really encourage you to pre-order them so you don't miss out. We hate when people miss out on the books they want to read, and this is your surefire way of not missing out. Pre-order them there, whether they get mailed to you or you stop by locally and get them. This way, you don't miss any of the comic goodness. You don't miss out on the storylines you want to read, all that good stuff. Also, don't forget that you can use the code ILOVEFLUX at checkout and get 10% off your first order. So if it's your first time ordering with us and you're pre-ordering something, that is 2 10% offs. They don't double up, but they do some math, and you get a little bit more off
It's
than
close
you.
to 20%.
It's
Yeah.
close, but that was not my major in college. So we are continuing on with other number ones.
Guardians of the Galaxy Annual. So this is the conclusion of Group Fall. So that's kind of been a storyline ever since the beginning of this series launched, and now Groot Fall is coming to an end. Groot's year-long journey comes to an end here, and can the Guardians confront their past in order to ensure that their family has a future? You'll have to read to find out. But we have the really cool A cover right here, and then we have a Paco Medina Marvel 97 variant featuring the original design for Star-Lord.
I like that design.
Yeah.
I think it's still pretty cool.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Dutch #1. So this is a mini series by Joe Casey, and the art and cover is by Simon Gane. And if you don't know Dutch, if you saw, we don't have any variants for this. There are some incentive variants we don't show, but just the regular A cover. But if you looked him up and you're familiar with some classic 90s image, you'll recognize him. So his first appearance was in, I believe, Team. Was it Team Youngblood?
Team Youngblood, I think.
Team Youngblood from 1993. He had a big purple suit. He had
the smokestacks on his head.
Smokestacks coming off his head. Of course, that classic gun that is just a big oval.
Yeah. Bunch of pouches.
Yeah.
You know?
So this is kind of your.
We just described every 90s character.
He had pouches. He was really big.
Yeah.
He had pouches on his leg. But this is a little bit, it feels like a little bit Old Man Dutch instead of Old Man Logan, because it's later on in his career, he's kind of retired, all of that. But a villain from his past is popping back up, and it's up to Dutch to stop him. He's going to try to team up with his former teammates, but will they welcome him back, or is he going to be taken out before he even makes it that far? So, sounds really fun. I like the return of all these old 90s characters and kind of putting them in a different light at this point. So, this is Dutch #1. I think it's only, what did we see, a 3-issue miniseries?
That's right, yeah. Just 3 issues.
Just 3 issues. So, if you're a fan of that classic 90s fun, definitely check this one out.
Next is the Infernals #1. I believe this is going to be a miniseries. I'm not 100% sure. I think this is a miniseries. But new series from Image Comics, written by Ryan Parrott and Noah Gardner, and the art is by John Pearson. So this one is about a guy named Abe Morgenstern, who is the son of Satan. But he only has 1 month left to live. But before he dies, he has to figure out which of his kids are going to get his shadowy empire. And his kids are described as Nero, who is a volatile narcissist, Jackal, who is a conflicted field operative, and B, who is a troubled schoolgirl. So, he's got a swell family there. He's got to figure out which one of those are going to get his empire. But will Abe ever be able to truly cede control of the apocalypse, or does the Antichrist have something else up his sleeve? I'm wondering if, maybe it's a test.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not really dying. I just told my kids that I was, to test them out, to see who's worthy of taking over when I actually do die. Something like that. We're not really sure, but there's a little bit more there than what is on the surface. So yeah, if that sounds good to you, this is the very first issue. We have our A cover right here, and then we have a B cover by Cormac.
Next up, we have Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. This is a mini-series, I believe, and it is it's based on the new game that either just came out or is coming out. Is it out yet?
Yeah, I think it came out last year.
Okay. Yeah.
I think so.
I think it did.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard any reviews of it or anything. This is by Ray Fox, and the art is by Gabriel Guzman. And it's 6 issues based on the game. So I'm not sure if it talks about you meet new characters, new clans, and explore unseen parts of Pandora in this miniseries. I couldn't tell if it's a prequel comic to the game or if it's an adaptation of the game. That wasn't too clear. But I'm guessing if you are a fan of Avatar, this is kind of your the next thing in the story. Or if you've played the game and you want to maybe see a prequel to it or maybe an adaptation, I'm not sure. Check this one out. And there's only 1 cover for it.
Nice.
So easy choice.
Yep. Next is the Cabinet The Cabinet #1. It's going to be a 5-issue miniseries written by Jordan Hart and David Ebeltoft, and the art is by Chiara Raimondi, sorry.
A hard
Yeah, I
name.
know. So this is about these two teenagers on the cover. Their names are Avani and Trent. They teleport across a post-Cold War landscape to collect bizarre relics. They need to do this because they need to summon the arcane powers of a 17th century cabinet to fix a mistake. That mistake being unleashing an ancient evil from its prison and accidentally killing Avani's parents. Oops. That's a big mistake,
It's a
yeah.
big mistake. It feels a little like Jumanji.
Yeah,
You
a little bit.
know, I'm not sure. It's such a wild premise with all
Yeah.
these different
Yeah,
elements.
so some sounds like some fun adventure, hijinks, supernatural. Those are like the tags that I would put on this. So it sounds really cool. This is our A cover right here, and then we have a Savage cover as well. I like that one.
Yeah. Next up, we got notable 2s and 3s continuations of series that maybe you read the first one of. Maybe it hasn't come out yet, but the orders still have to go in, so
Mhm.
we don't want you to miss out on any of these. Starting with Rise of the Powers of 10, number 2. So this is the one that takes place. I'm guessing it's going to do the same thing the first one did, is 10 years in the
Like time
future,
jumps, yeah.
100 years in the future. I think it's doing the same thing. But we saw in the last one that there was a attempt to get the mutants back to Earth and reestablish everything that didn't work out too well. So Xavier might be trying something else. It does say, I was kind of wondering in the first one, like, where is Professor X and all of that in this? It says that his crew hide between space and time. So they're definitely like in another place, being able to kind of watch these different versions of the future play out.
Huh.
And they're
Oh,
trying
that's
to,
right, because that at the end, right? They like,
yeah.
oh, that didn't work or something like that.
Yeah, you get through the whole issue
yeah.
and then you realize, oh, maybe
Yep.
this is different plans.
Mhm.
But they're still trying to figure out how to defeat Orcus and have a future for mutants. But this may require rewriting history. And if you've read that first one, it's a pretty shocking finale that was like, there's no way they're doing
Yeah, are
this.
they really gonna do that? Yeah.
But I'm super on board to find out what
Yep.
happens. So if you missed the first one, definitely pick it up. I think there is also a second printing coming out the same week as this, so
Okay.
you'll want to grab that. But this is our A cover. We also have our beautiful David Mack cover. We have a Giuseppe Camuncoli connecting variant. And we have a Kari Andrews variant
I
as
like that one.
well.
Yep. Next is Action Comics number 1062, just following up on
Kind
the
of a part. It's kind of a number 2.
Yeah.
It's a number 2 of the Superman Superstars.
Action Comics number 1062.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
this is the second part of the I Bizarro storyline, and also the second issue of this new Superman Superstars initiative, where they bring in big creators to do some short story arcs. The first part of this story, 1061, was wonderful. I loved it. Such a good, cool, bizarro story. Now we're going to get more of it. Superman's trapped inside of a world gone mad, which is a metropolis that's transformed into the city of Bizarro. We saw that at the end of the last issue. And he'll have to battle the most powerful Bizarro of all, the one inside his own mind.
Ooh.
So, didn't he get turned into a Bizarro?
Yeah, I think everyone got Bizarro-fied.
Yeah, so that's going to be super cool. John Timms on art, I love it. Like that first part was awesome. I can't wait for this.
That big fight across the universe was incredible.
He just swatted me to Saturn or something like that. Yeah, that was really cool. So we have our A cover. This is by John Timms, so that's what it looks like on the inside. We have our Jorge Jimenez variant sitting on the moon, I guess.
Wow.
We have a Riccardo Federici variant of Bizarro, and then this is a Nicholas Draper-Ivey Black History Month variant featuring Steel.
Yep. And next up, we have D&D Saturday Morning Adventures 2, issue number 2. So, issue number 1 of this comes out this week. I think it's on my list to cover on our Monday show. But if you're a fan of the old Dungeons and Dragons TV show, the cartoon, you'll definitely enjoy this, as it's the Saturday Morning Adventures kind of heading that IDW has. It's so much fun. This one is set on the Sword Coast. I love that it still takes place like within the Forgotten Realms universe. So you see a lot of the familiar names, like the Sword Coast was a big thing.
Cool.
And Bobby, who's the barbarian, is missing. him and Sheila were kind of clashing about how barbarian he's turning. This made him upset, and he left. Now they have to go find him, but it sounds like there's going to be some sea monsters in the way. So really fun stuff. If you haven't checked it out, it's like watching an episode of the show.
Yeah, I loved this cartoon when I was a kid. I watched it every Saturday morning. Hated that it went off. They canceled it without an ending.
Yeah,
I hate that. So
and that's basically what this comic is like they're still stuck there and they address that they haven't made it out yet.
yeah,
Really cool. So this is our A cover for that, and then we have the Samarvia variant. It's really fun too.
yeah, I like that. All right, so this is the second printing of the first issue of Rebel Moon House of the Blood Axe.
I saw it too, and I added it.
Okay, so wait, so is this number 2 then?
I think this is
Because this on this it says first number 1 second printing.
Oh yeah. I just put this before the other one, in case people miss out on.
Okay, so yeah, if you did, because there was some confusion about this too.
Yeah,
it came out.
It was a weird.
Like it was supposed to come out one day, but shops didn't get it until like a few days later.
Yeah.
We got it here on the day that we thought it was supposed to come out, but the information said it wasn't supposed to come out till next week.
Yeah.
It was weird. So if you missed it because of some confusion, it is going to a second print. And then there is also the second issue. And there's going to be a 4-issue miniseries. Now, this cover is by Daniel Warren Johnson, which this is awesome. Now, I will say that there's not any information in the solicitation about this issue specifically.
It's just kind of a general.
It's the same thing as the first issue,
Yeah.
talking about what the miniseries is about. You know, this being a prequel to the Rebel Moon movie that just hit Netflix last month, about the leader of the Blood Axe family who's sort of conflicted between, you know, ruling with an iron fist like his dad did, or sort of being a man of the people like he wants to be, that kind of thing. So yeah, if you missed the first issue, there's a second print coming, and then this is the second issue that you can pre-order this weekend.
And next up, we have Zorro, Man of the Dead, number 2. You read this one for the show a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple Mondays ago.
And one of the interesting things was when Diego in this, because this is set, I don't want to say like modern day, but it's.
I mean, it's in the present.
The present,
it's
yeah.
not like in the like the 1800s or whatever. Like
when he donned the Zorro outfit and took up the mantle Zorro, you're like, oh, it seems kind of weird that he's now acting like he doesn't like recognize cars and stuff like that.
I couldn't tell if he was really into the bit or if he was almost like taken over by the spirit of Zorro. I couldn't tell.
Well, in this, it does say that Diego has the spirit of Zorro flowing through him.
Okay.
And Rosa must save her brother, who believes he is the real protector of La Vega. So it sounds like he really like something happened where he like thinks he's the classic Zorro. Yeah. So very interesting one there by Sean Gordon Murphy. This is our A cover for that. We also have our Tony Daniel variant, which is awesome. Yeah. And then we have our movie homage cover, which is really cool as well. Next up, we have cool covers. Just some cool covers to issues that are further in the series, but we want to point them out anyways. Starting with
Spider-Boy number 4. So we haven't gotten 3 yet, which I was just thinking about that today. I love 1. I love 2. Where's number 3? I really want number 3. It's coming soon. But this is number 4. So this one actually guest stars Miles Morales. You can see him on the cover right there. So this one says that Spider-Boy has monstered out before, and we've seen that. We've seen him get like fangs or whatever. But on that cover, he's really like we've never seen him go that far before.
Does he even have like big spider legs coming out of his back?
I think so. And the solicitation says, "Who's to say that this isn't the true form, his true form, and that Bailey Briggs is the disguise? So instead of being a boy who's sort of hiding his spider-ness, maybe it's a spider like masquerading as a boy. Like I mean." More to come. I feel like there's still some things about Spider-Boy that we don't know yet. We're still learning. And it says something about, is it Spider-Boy or Boy Spider? So really cool to see that. Really cool. We haven't seen him and Miles team up yet. He's mentioned that he's teamed up with Miles before, but obviously nobody remembers. So
I'm interested in that too because they're both kind of characters out of time and out
Yeah.
of universe,
Yeah.
that they may have some stuff to talk about.
Yeah, so really excited for this one. The first 2 issues were great. I'm sure the 3rd issue will be great, and I'm sure this one will too. This is our A cover. We also have an Ethan Young Marvel 97 variant. Is that the 97
I
variant?
guess so.
There's a Martin Coccolo Stormbreakers variant, and then there is a Nicoletta Baldari variant as well.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Just so much about Spider-Boy that's still a mystery, but in
Yeah.
a really fun way.
But I feel like we are getting a good amount of information. Like it's they're not dragging it out.
Yeah.
Like every time he pops up in a book, we get a little bit more.
Yeah.
But we still don't have it all yet. So there's still some more to come.
Next up, we have X-Force number 49. I'm going to be going over issue 48 on our show coming up on Monday because I'm very excited about this storyline. I haven't covered X-Force in a while on the show, but this is Target Beast Part 2. Yeah. So the one Monday will be Part 1. And in this, as you can see on the cover, Wonder Man and Beast reunite. So classic team up, kind of like, I would kind of say they're best friends, like Wonder Man and Beast.
Yeah, I mean they're one of those duos like Booster Gold and Blue Beetle,
or Luke Cage and Iron Fist.
Yeah, they're one of the best bros.
Yeah. So what it seems like is, if you've been reading X-Force, Beast, that is currently in X-Force, is pretty irredeemable at this point. He's done some horrific things, especially with his experimentations, his cloning of Wolverine and himself, just very dark things. But from what it sounds like, Beast from the past, like you can see here, very 90s era Beast, is going to be showing up and teaming up with Wonder Man once again to maybe stop this current version of the Beast. So I'm very excited about this because this is kind of one of our first hints at maybe some of the future plans for the X-Men.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
This classic Beast coming back. Maybe one who's got, his head on straight this time instead of the current one.
And then I don't always like to compare the books with the MCU, but the Beast we saw at the end of Captain Marvel looked very classic 90s Beast, which is what this does, and we know that the comics love to be synergized with the MCU. We also know that we're getting some kind of, I don't want to call it a reboot or a reset, but later on this year we're gonna, Brevoort's gonna come in and do some new stuff with the X-Men. So I don't know, everything's taking shape right now.
Yeah,
I guess.
But I'm very interested in this story. I think it sounds really cool. I'm very intrigued by kind of how all this is going to come about. Plus, you got this great giant size X-Men homage cover. Just a lot of really cool stuff with this.
Yeah.
So this is issue 49. I think a lot of people will be picking this up just to see what is going on. I think so too. Yeah. Then we also have our Will Sliney variant, which you see the other version of Beast on there, who's a little bit more, what was the series? A little bit through New X-Men and Astonishing X-Men. Yeah. Where he came almost more like ape-like, I want to say. So, yeah, we're going to have classic maybe versus this. Yeah. It's really cool.
Next is Captain Marvel number 5. So we wanted to show you this really cool Annie Wu Marvel 97 variant. In this one, it asks the question, who are the undone and what do they want with Captain Marvel? Their worlds intersect more than she knows. Plus, Yuna Yang brings Carol along with her to meet the parents on a little family visit. Hey, Mom and Dad, this is the person that I'm linked with, who I keep swapping places with. Although I wonder if that got solved. I'm a little bit behind on this, but if she's bringing Carol with her, maybe they don't swap anymore. Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, I'll have to catch up. But we want to show you this really cool cover. These are really fun.
Because for a long time, Marvel kind of steered away from this classic costume. Yeah. Back when she was Miss Marvel, but it's cool that they're looking at it again and showing it off.
Yeah, I love that suit. I think that's
where
such
the sash
cool look.
came from.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Gods number 5. I believe this is a 6-issue miniseries, so this is the issue before the last. I'm not going to try to tell you what the solicitation said for this because they're all over the place.
They're always so cryptic.
But I'll be going over issue number 4, I believe, coming up. Or is it issue number 3? It should be 4.
3 or 4, yeah.
On
it should be 4 if this one's coming out in like
Yeah,
6 weeks.
on the Monday show, and we're still trying to figure out what is the big picture that this book is trying to paint. But I really like this variant. This is the Ron Lim Cosmic Homage cover, which looks like some classic 90s uh, Marvel space
Yeah.
books.
Next is Daredevil number 6. This is the Ben Sue Marvel 97 variant. I love this one. This looks very, like I can, this looks very much like an advertisement or a poster for the Spider-Man animated series from the 90s, with the big like villain peering over the buildings. I've been loving this series so far. And in this one, and we got a little bit of a tease to this at the very end of the last issue, but Matt is finally going to get a little bit of information about these demons that have been possessing people that are close to him with the help of Doctor Strange. He showed up at the last issue to say, "Hey, I wonder why you haven't called me yet," or something like that. And Daredevil and Doctor Strange in Daredevil number 6 with this really cool cover.
Next up, we have Star Wars number 43. This is a story arc that has people talking because Luke is trapped inside this kind of Force vision when he tried to not go into a red kyber crystal, but kind of like Force connect with it to see is there a way I can purify it. And in there is this rogue Sith that we don't know a whole lot about. We don't even have a name for him yet.
Is it that one on the cover?
Yeah.
There? God, he looks cool.
We don't know a whole lot about him, but it's going to be revealed a lot more with him and maybe what era all of that takes place in. But we do know that he's got a plan, and maybe it feels a little bit like the DC event where Night Terrors, where maybe he sees Luke as a way of pulling himself out of
right,
Force vision into reality and recreate the Sith Empire. So really cool stuff here. Loving this new story arc. So this is our A cover.
I think that cover is that's the A cover, and that looks so cool.
Yeah. That tells you like so much about what's going on in this. We also have the Wingard variant for the Rebels anniversary cover there with Kanan and Zeb. We also have, this one's really fun. So this is John Tyler Christopher action figure variant. That's Rick Oley. And I'll say, when episode 1 was coming out, and I went to Toys R Us, and I looked at all the toys they had. And at this Toys R Us, it took up the entire, like, one whole, like, side of the building, basically. All that red and black Darth Maul stuff. I saw the new Obi-Wan figure, the Qui-Gon figure, the Darth Maul figure. Which one did I buy? Rick Oley, the pilot of Queen Amidala's Starfighter. I just looked at him and was like, this guy looks cool. He had a pilot helmet and a blaster. And I was like, he's going to be big. He was not. He was in like 3 scenes.
Yep.
But so seeing this, I'm like, oh, that brings me back to 1999 and buying episode 1 figures. So this is the John Tyler Christopher. Then we also have the Ken Lashley Black History Month variant as well.
Next is Incredible Hulk number 9, and this cover, Greg Capullo doing the Hulk. That's awesome, and we know he's going to be doing Wolverine at some point later this year, I believe. This one features the Hulk versus the Angel of Death. The Hulk arrives at this supernatural town that's haunted by a serial killer, but it's not just any normal serial killer, not like a mortal serial killer. Because Hulk would mop the floor with that, right? Hulk's going to need the help of a supernatural detective in order to track this serial killer down, who is like, I guess immortal, or the Angel of Death. I wonder if it's actually, an angel. Who knows? But yeah, if you've been reading this, don't miss out. And this Greg Capullo cover is awesome. And then there's also a Nick Bradshaw Marvel 97 variant.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I really hope when Capullo is on Wolverine that we get like a rematch with Wolverine and Hulk or stuff like that. That would just be beautiful. Yeah. Okay, next up we have Marvel Secret War or Marvel Secret World
Marvel Superheroes
Secret Wars Battle World number 4 John Tyler Christopher variant with Hobgoblin on here. And this one sounds really cool because this is the final issue. We've got Falcon, Iceman, and Daredevil join Human Torch. So those are the missing heroes from Secret Wars.
Yeah.
And can they pass the Beyonders test? And what is that test? They've got to take out Spider-Man. So,
Okay.
sounds pretty interesting in this grand finale to the series.
The only thing, it's weird that Human Torch is mixed up in all this because everybody else are characters who got figures in the 80s, but who never appeared in the original Secret Wars. But Human Torch never got a figure. And I don't remember. He was in the original Secret Wars, though, but he didn't get. So I don't know why he's in here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool that he is, but everybody else, they have been retconned into being in this, and now their figures make sense. Next is Spider-Woman number 4. This continuing the gang war storyline, but also continuing her story as well. Jessica Drew finally finds the answers that she's been looking for, and she's reunited with her son, which is awesome. And that's going to launch her into like a new paradigm. But she is going to have to help finish out the gang war first, and she's going to be fighting alongside Captain Marvel. So I feel like that's, once Captain Marvel shows up, like the gang war is over, right? So, but yeah, you're going to get some Jessica and some Carol Danvers action. We have this really cool Hildebrandt Marvel Masterpieces cover. This was the card from back in the 90s. And then there's also a TODD NAUCK Marvel 97 variant. I love this one featuring Julia Carpenter. Yeah.
That's super cool. And it's not a symbiote.
Right.
It's just like, hey, Spider-Man has that cool suit. I want a cool black suit also.
Yeah, it's what the symbiote based its look off of. So yeah, she came first.
Next up, we have Transformers number 5. So, I mean, we can't talk about how excited we are about all of the Energon universe. This is a bit of a spoiler for the end of the previous issue.
Yeah.
But that just fantastic surprises in that one. In this one, Starscream is going to revive one of the most dangerous Decepticons to stop the Transformers once and for all. Very interesting to see. I don't think it's Megatron. I have my reasons for thinking that.
Right. We don't want to say it, but if you've read all the Energon Universe books so far, you know why.
Yeah.
You know what's going on there.
But it's very cool. And also, it's like, how did his cannon get there? Or where did his cannon... Because he pulled it out of the back of his truck, didn't he?
Well, the whole arm was.
Yeah, the whole arm. So, I don't know. There's a lot of story there that I'm interested in. But this is our A cover by Daniel Warren Johnson. And then we have our B cover, and this one is by Stoko.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is the Transformer that maybe he's reviving.
I think it is. I just don't know who that is. Is it? Let us know if there's any Transformers experts out there. I thought it maybe looked like Scortnock, but I don't know.
It's very hard to, because there's a lot of rubble in there as well.
We need to go back and look at the when they release like the lineup.
Oh,
like who's in that image for the Decepticons? Next is Vampirella number 666. So we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but the FOC date got pushed back on this one. So we'll talk about it again. Now this one is just the next issue of the series that's been going on for, I think, like 25 issues now, written by Christopher Priest. So it is part of that. However, they have renumbered it to 666 to reflect her 6 decades of being in print, of being published. Vampirella is murdered by a mysterious blonde woman who looks exactly like her, but when she wakes up, she's surrounded by her friends and family, and everything seems like it's okay with the world, but she feels like she's got this nagging feeling that there is something wrong. And what it is she finds herself back at the beginning of this run, wherever that started. She finds herself back there, but the mass casualty event that happened at the beginning of that run, which caused everything to be the way it is, it has been averted. So now what does the world look like? What does her world look like? All that kind of stuff. So if you're reading Vampirella, this is still that same series. They just changed the number to 666. Because I guess you can just do that, whenever you want to. You can just change the number. So this is our A cover here. We have a Masafara variant. We have a... that's all we have for this one, yeah.
Because next up is Outsiders number 4. This is the super cool... let's see, artist on this one. This is the Nicholas Draper-Ivey Black History Month variant with Luke Fox in his super cool Batwing suit. But in this issue, the Outsiders head to the London Underground to find out who or what is at the center of a crisis that shook the universe at the turn of the millennium. So it sounds like there was like a DC crisis level event that happened. I don't know if it's like is it like because there was crises in DC Comics around that time. Like, what did Millennium come out then?
Well, Millennium was like late
Late
80s.
80s.
Yeah. I was trying to think what happened right around 2000. Infinite Crisis was.
That was like 2006.
Right, so it must have been before that, so it couldn't have been fun. Well, I don't think we're
Zero
supposed to
Hour?
know. Well, Zero Hour was in the 94, I think.
Okay.
But it sounds like it's maybe supposed to be a crisis that we don't know about.
Yeah. So, but they're
That nobody knows
investigating
about.
that and who's at the center of it.
Yeah.
I love this. Like, the last issue was super weird. Like,
Mhm.
very, very weird. But I like this kind of like deep diving into DC lore and the weirder sides of the history of DC. So if you're not reading Outsiders and you like that kind of thing, definitely pick it up. And got this awesome variant for it.
Yeah. Next is Batman number 143. This is continuing the Joker Year One storyline, which hasn't gotten kicked off yet. It will with the next issue of Batman that comes out. But in this, a mysterious figure from Batman's past has come into the Joker's orbit and will change him forever. I don't know if I think maybe in the past though, when he was still starting out as Joker. So don't miss out on this. We got some cool covers. This is the Derek Chew variant. We have a Kevin Wada sweater weather variant with a caked up Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
He's like Nightwing's not the only one,
Got it from somebody.
And then the Alan Qua variant as well. I like that one.
That one's really cool. Very reminds me almost of like concept art for like Arkham Asylum or
What's
something.
that on the catwalk right there? I can't tell.
Wow.
Yeah, but there's Catwoman up there, and
maybe Red Hood or Nightwing or something.
Can't tell.
Very cool. Next up, speaking of Batman, we have Batman and Robin number 6. So in this one, I love the kind of storylines like, we're getting the annual where they go camping.
Yeah.
This one.
The last issue where he was playing soccer and Bruce was cheering him on. I love that stuff.
Yeah, well, that plays into this one because Bruce and Damian must work together to stop a new killer on a soccer field.
What?
So, really cool stuff. I like the, it's Batman and Robin, but this also has a lot of Bruce and Damian dynamics that I feel like is much needed. This is our Yasmin Putri variant. We also have our Kale New variant. And we have the Suicide Squad Kill Arkham Asylum game key art variant. So I guess that's... I don't know. It's interesting to see Batman on here considering he's supposed to be dead.
In the game?
In the game, because it...
That's... No, he's not dead in that.
Oh, he
was dead in the other one, in the other game, the Arkham Knights game.
Yeah.
He's not in this one.
It's so confused with all of the continuity of the games.
It's tricky. Oh, and next is Green Lantern number 8. One of my favorite books on the stands. I love this series. In this one, so this one sounds cool, and this is a suspicion I had for a while. So in this one, Hal discovers that the United Planets are consolidating power in the universe by nefarious means. And I always had a weird feeling about the United Planets and their knockoff Green Lantern Corps. Like, there's something weird going on there.
John Kent established them in the past?
Yeah, during Bendis's run, I think.
Or Legion of Superheroes.
Well, I thought it was established. I thought Superman did it during Bendis's run, like in the present time.
Oh, okay.
I think is when it was established first. So it's been around for a while, and it was supposed to be. It played a big part in that the Green Lantern series that wrapped up a year or two ago, featuring Jon Stewart. Yeah. It figured into that a lot. So I mean, it started out as a legitimate thing, but I guess power corrupts and that kind of thing, and now they're up to no good. Hal is going to sort of discover some of this stuff. He's got to stop him, but before he can, representatives from the United Planets Corps have come to arrest him for unlawful use of emotional spectrum energy in a quarantine zone. Because he's on Earth, he's not supposed to be using Green Lantern energy, and he is. So I love it. I think it sounds super interesting, and I love this cover. This is a Doc Shaner variant featuring Kyle Rayner. And
where is Kyle Rayner right now?
I don't know. He was in the last issue, but that was like a flashback issue. I don't know where he is right now.
I love Kyle Rayner is my favorite Green Lantern next to Kilowog.
Yeah.
And I love this classic suit.
Yeah, I'm glad they went back to it.
Yeah, there's a second suit too that's black and green where he's got like spiky hair, and his lantern symbol's cool and stuff. But I just love this classic one.
And I love that they use panels from Green Lantern 48, his first appearance.
Yeah.
Like that's great. Like this is a great cover. This might be the one I get. And then there is a Tiago da Silva sweater weather variant. This was for all the different lanterns just having fun in the snow, but I guess that's a hot spring or something.
I kind of feel like this is like on another planet.
Could
you know,
be.
like they're all vacationing
Yeah.
on some weird planet.
I like Jessica Cruz with the bucket dumping on Guy
Yeah.
Gardner. Yeah, that's great.
Really fun. I like those that you can also keep looking at and find different things.
Yeah.
Okay, next up we have graphic novels and more, like second printings and compendiums, all that fun stuff. Starting with Amazing Spider-Man number 253 facsimile edition. So this is interesting. I kind of feel like this came out because of the Gang War storyline.
Oh, right.
Because this is the first appearance of the Rose, who is Richard Fisk, son of Kingpin, but who was previously known as the Schemer, which I did not know about the Schemer. He must have had, you know, not a big impact on the Spider
yeah,
universe,
I
so
don't
he needed
remember
to rebrand.
This like the stuff with the Rose lasted for a really long time in the 80s, so I don't remember a lot of it, but
it's back during Black Suit
yeah.
Spider-Man stuff. So just another cool facsimile edition.
Yep. All right, so next is something very interesting. So this is the Conan the Barbarian trade paperback, Volume 1, collecting the first 4 or 5 issues of that first story arc of this new Conan.
The Black Rock or whatever it was
Yeah.
called.
So this trade paperback has 2 direct market variants and then a regular variant as well, or a regular cover, which isn't typical for trade paperbacks. Like omnibuses do that all the time.
Yeah.
But for a trade paperback to do this is a little bit outside of the norm, but it's very cool. So this is gonna, yeah, like I said, it collects the first story arc. So this one is one of the direct market variants, and this is from Art Germ. This was one of the covers, I think, to the first or second issue.
One, yeah.
So this one is $24.99. The next one is Mignola. This was also one of the covers.
Yep.
This is also a direct market cover for the trade paperback. This is $24.99. But then the standard edition cover is by Dan Panosian, and this is $17.99. But they all collect the same thing. So
it's weird because omnibuses don't change the price.
Right, omnibuses are the same price regardless. So, and if you know, direct market variant means that you can only get that cover from places like us, like comic shops, things like that. Whereas your standard cover, you can get it at like Books A Million or Target or Amazon or wherever. But yeah, so this is the standard cover, but this is actually $8 less, which is really weird because omnibuses don't do that. They just stay the same price no matter what cover you get. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see, is there any cover stock difference or
I don't know.
Like
it doesn't say that. So yeah, I've never seen a trade paperback do this before. But there it is.
Could be testing something out.
Still worth it though. Like this, this whole first story arc of Conan was awesome. If you missed it out, the artwork is fantastic. It actually felt like Conan from the '70s. It looked like it. Like it's great. It's just the physical production of it is a little bit weird.
Yep. Next up, I've already pre-ordered this because I'm very excited about this because I've never read that much Lobo. I've read him kind of when he crossed over with Superman or in Justice League of America. I've read Lobo, but I feel like most of my Lobo knowledge comes from like the Superman animated series or stuff like where he's appeared as a secondary character. But this is the Lobo Big Fraggin' Compendium Volume 1. This comes with a lot, so I'll read off some of the stuff. It has Lobo 1 through 4 of the miniseries, Lobo 0 through 9 of his kind of ongoing series, Annual 1 and 2, Lobo Paramilitary Christmas Special #1, Lobo's Back #1 through 4, Lobo Blazing Chain of Love #1, Lobo Infanticide 1 through 4, Lobo Portrait of a Victim #1, Lobo Un-American Gladiator 1 through 4, Lobo Convention Special. It keeps going on.
There's more.
There's more. There's so much more. There's an issue of Green Lantern Quarterly, Superman Man of Steel, the Demon Omega Man #3, which is, I believe, his first appearance. And even the RoboCop parody issue. This has so much in it.
It's basically everything that every Lobo series from the 90s is all in this book, plus the first 9 issues of his ongoing run
which we
from
just
the 90s
looked up
as well.
was what?
70-something issues.
So they've got plenty more to do after this, but I love that this is covering so many of those different miniseries. You got Simon Bisley working on this, Keith Giffen, just fantastic creators with a character that I feel like we're getting into some prime Lobo time coming up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rumors about Lobo and his future in live action.
Well, the upcoming Brainiac story is going to
story.
feature Lobo and the Zarnians.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so if you're like me, maybe you haven't read a ton of Lobo, this is going to be a great way of getting it. And it's not that bad. It's $59.99. It is paperback, but
There's a lot
there's
in
a
it.
lot in
Yeah,
it.
there's a
So
lot in it.
definitely recommend. I've already pre-ordered mine.
Yeah, I'm going to for sure. Next is the Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale Captain America. So this is the oversized hardcover gallery edition of Captain America White, but in the solicitation it just says Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale, Captain America. But you can see on the cover there, this is the Captain America White story. It's going to be $50. It's going to collect the entire Captain America White series, 0 through 5. From Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, and you know it falls in line with the Daredevil Yellow, Spider-Man Blue, Hulk Gray. It's within that line. They've already released Spider-Man Blue and Daredevil Yellow in this oversized format, so it's it's only 5 or 6 issues, so it's not super thick, but the size of the book is really big. It's really tall, really wide, so it's a great way to read these stories. Big, beautiful pages, and it's going to be, like I said, $50. There is this cover, but this also has a direct market variant. I don't know who the artists are on that one.
Sale.
Okay, okay. Yeah, you're right. Oh, that does look like him. So
Yeah.
The Captain America didn't look like him in the face so much, but I can see it in the Red Skull face. Yeah.
And that is it for Comics from the Future. Thank you so much for watching. There's a lot of good stuff up for order this week, so don't miss out on ordering. Your orders are due Sunday night at 9, so don't miss out on it to guarantee your stuff are going to be there, because Ultimate Spider-Man, there's no promises that your store is going to have enough to be on the wall. We're going to order a lot of it, but we still don't know how many people are going to ask for it between our order and its release. It's just your best bet is to get your pre-orders in. So stay tuned. We're going to be having our show coming up on Monday. We'll be going over some of the biggest books coming out that week, so you know what to grab when you head into your comic book store. And remember to like and subscribe the video. Follow us on all the social medias, all that fun stuff. And we'll see you next time.
Yep. See ya.